Sponsored by Mortgage Right. I'm your host, John Sirenitas, and tonight I'm joined by my partner, Kevin Stone, and we are joined by Patscap's Miguel Benzan. Miguel, it's Christmas Day in the spring for you, my friend. How are you?
Doing all right, doing all right. I just think I actually, John, I was thinking like, watch some Preachers news will come on while we're on the show. But I'm just glad the Michael Wanos news happened just a little bit before the show.
Right before we went live. And before we start talking Pat's free agency with Miguel, I do want to remind you that we are brought to you by Mortgage Right. If you are in the market to sell your current home or purchase your first home, give our good friend Herb Devine a call at 781 254 2846, or you can shoot him an email at situate.mortgageright.com. He and his team are available anytime, including nights and weekends, to help you purchase your first home or purchase your next home. When it comes to having a loan officer or lender with experience, Herb is your guy with over 25 years in the business. Again, give him a call at 781 254 2846, or you can email him at situate.mortgageright.com. All right, Miguel, as I mentioned, this is, in essence, Christmas Day for you. It's the unofficial start of free agency. Of course, the NFL, in many ways, is the complete opposite of baseball, in
Yes.
that baseball, you still have Blake Snell sitting out there and Jordan Montgomery, free agents sit on the market forever. In football, most of your quality free agents are already off the market, and we haven't even officially started free agency yet. That all commences on Wednesday afternoon at 4 o'clock. But just some thoughts on what we saw today so far, specifically from the Patriots, and then we'll get into the numbers.
Okay, they did what I thought they needed to do. I thought they needed to keep their top free agents. All right, I argued it was Owano and Duggar. All right, some people would put, and people like Hunter Henry. All right, they kept all three, and people are asking, saying on Twitter like, what if somebody's gonna try to sign Duggar away? All right, in this safety market, I'm trying to imagine a team, one of the 31 other teams, that would offer Kyle Duggar more money than the Patriots would in a structure that the Patriots wouldn't match. All right, because remember, if you and the downside for the other team to make Kyle Duggar an offer, let's say you make him an offer and his cap number in 2024 is $15 million. All right, or let's say make it $20 million, right, which is more than $6 million more what the Patriots have right now. Right, you got to carry that $20 million cap number on your books for 5 business days until the Patriots make it, and because the Patriots have 5 days to match. All right, so the Patriots could string have that $20 million on the other team's cap, and then say we'll match it. So like I'm thinking, I cannot think of a team that's willing to tie up that much cap at the beginning of free agency. All right, to get Kyle Duggar when there's so many other good, good safeties out in the market. So right now they got them. They have all those three guys out there. I like the moves. Um, they haven't really. The funny thing is, John, they haven't really moved off the structure of their deals. They're still continuing to use active roster bonuses. They're still continuing to use incentives. They are having a low cap number in the first year of the deal so far, right? And they're probably gonna have high cap number. I don't. We can guess from the original report of Awano's deal that he's gonna get $19 million cash in the third year, non guaranteed. All right. So we can pretty much guess that, and since we know that his signing bonus is going to be prorated over 3 years. He's going to get a $22.5 million signing bonus. It's going to be prorated for 3 years at $7.5 million. We can guess. Oh, I could actually have it in front of me. Hold on, man. I could just tell you the numbers right in front of me. That his cap number in 20, if I'm guessing right, all right, and I might be off, folks, because I don't know what they're using for the active roster bonus. Okay, they use $1 million for Hunter Henry, so I'm going to make that same assumption. Okay, Michael Warner missed one game, so he's going to have 16 likely to be earned after roster bonuses. All right, so even if he got the minimum salary for a guy with his experience, which is 4 years, which is $1.125 million. Okay, and we know he got a signing promotion of $7.5 million. His active roster bonus amount right now would be $941,176, which means his cap number would be $9.56 million. All right, this year. It goes up, and if I'm right on these numbers, I'm a little off, but that's probably the minimum he could be based on Hunter Henry's deal. All right. Then to get to the guaranteed amount, they said $38 million. That means next year's salary would have to be $12.375 million. And saying, and with the $1,000 and $1 million in active roster bonuses. All right. So he goes from having a cap hit of $9.6 million this year to $20.875 million next year and $26.5 million in 2026. This is I'm guessing based on what happened on Hunter Henry. I might be wrong, but that's just the general structure. And that's why I'm going by Hunter Henry. They haven't changed the structure of their deals. All right. Somebody had asked me about front loading deals. All right. They haven't done that. And I didn't expect them to do, especially with why do it with Hunter Henry and Kendrick Bourne when their signing bonus amount is so low. You can cut them in the third year of the deal and have very little signing bonus. Kendrick Bourne $1.4 million and Hunter Henry 2.5. You know what I'm saying? So that's really small.
I was going to say, I mean, both of these guys, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, but based on what you just said, both of these guys are guys that at those rates,
oh my God,
good chance they won't be around in 2 years.
I mean, they won't be at these to justify the deal. These guys only have to play 2 good years, and then the third year will just move on, which is right, which is what you want if they draft a quarterback at 3, all right, and then you get to and these guys don't work out, you get to rebuild again the team. Right in the key year before you got
that third year where you have to decide what you're going to do about the option.
Yes, exactly. So you have a chance to rebuild the team around them again. All right.
Yeah, that's such a great point.
They're going to have they're structuring the deals, folks, to give them the salary cap flexibility to build around the number 3 pick. I happen to think as a quarterback. All right. But I'm okay. But I'm going to stay with the salary cap stuff.
Although he's on the trade down wagon.
Yeah. But go ahead, finish.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'm not on the trade down wagon. I'm a number 3 guy. But let's go with a quarterback in the first round. All right. By doing the structure of these deals, folks, they have the flexibility if these guys don't work out to switch, to go around, go to somebody else, to replace the Hunter Henry, replace the Kendrick Bourne. It's going to be expensive to get rid of Michael Owano, but I think if he's good, all right. Good offensive lineman can stay good for a very long time. All right. So in 2026, he's going to be 28 years old. He might be still good for another 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
All right. So that time you could then reach an extension with him and lower his cap number. All right. So that's all I got to say about the first couple of days. I mean, it's been crazy in the sense that we kept on seeing reports of the gods, and they kept on saying Michael Owano is going to get paid. All right, and I kept on saying he's going to get paid, and I really wish I'd set out before that he was going to get $17 million a year, and I really wish I had increased my projection once the cap really went up. I thought I should have went up to 20. All right, but I didn't. I stayed with 17, which is the funniest thing ever because the other people who kind of project the numbers, they all thought he was going to get paid as a god. So they were using 14, 15, all right, as the number. I'm like, and I'm saying 17, and people saying you're too low. I'm like, look I'm the highest guy out there. And then the tight ends. I mean, oh my gosh, Noah Fant got 2 for 21. Oh my goodness gracious. Hunter Henry deal looks like a bag every time it comes out. Wow, that's it doesn't look.
Especially when you consider, you could have made the argument before Dalton Schultz signed last week. And what did he get? I think he got 3 for 36. Yeah, so he got $12 million a year. But and he was the number 1 tight end in the market, but you can make the argument that Henry was probably the second best tight end in the market.
Yeah. See, I think people had Henry as the first one, right? So, but my biggest thing is people saying that he might have gotten overpaid by a couple of $1 million a year. I'm like, what are you talking about? In 2021, he signed for a deal for $12.5 million. The cap has gone up almost 40%. His deal went down. His deal went from $12.5
He's
million a year.
actually a good deal now.
Yeah, it's a $9 million. It was. I'm saying you could say that they might have overpaid in 2021, right? But I don't think he overpaid in 2024. I think it's pretty good value. All right. But there are those who got to make everything the Patriots do has got to be negative. They take it whatever that is, and that's all I gotta say. All right.
Miguel,
Okay.
you brought up Kyle Duggar, and just thinking about possible replacements. A former Boston College kid who's an All-Pro, Jeffrey Simmons, is out there. Is there any shot that they'd be able to squeeze him in while making all these moves, or do you think he's just going to make too much money?
Yeah, not to cut you off, you meant Justin Simmons.
Yes, sorry, Justin.
You're
Okay, yeah,
talking about the D tackle in Tennessee.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. It's been a long day.
Okay. All right. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, wait. Yeah, because I was thinking Jeffrey. No, I'm like, all right.
No, Justin.
I'm sorry, it's Justin. I wish I had the numbers. They can afford. Okay, so right now I have about $80 million in cap space, without knowing the numbers for Kendrick Bourne, without knowing the actual numbers for Michael Oweno. So, but I'm comfortable saying those two guys are going to probably take up about, let's say, $10 million in cap space. Okay, so that takes us down to $70 million. All right, with $70 million in cap space, you could pretty much still sign anybody you want. All right. If you're still going to be doing this low cap number in 2024, you could sign your Justin or Jeffrey Simmons. You can do it. I'm wondering if they're willing to spend, how much willing they're going to spend on the back end and on the safety market. All right. Because I think that they'd be probably better off to extend both Kyle Duggar and Jabril Peppers rather than going outside. All right. It's more likely to get better value if you extend those two guys than with a Justin Simmons. I'm not ruling it out. I'm just saying that for value wise, all those things are on the table right now. When you got about $70 million, folks, right? I'm just say 70. You could do pretty much anything. When you could sign, they have so many holes on they got several holes on the roster they still need to fill. All right, so they could still get, off the top of my head, a Justin Simmons, a Jonah Williams, and a Calvin Ridley, and then fill in some other guys, whatever you want to say, middle of the pack, because not everyone they sign on the 90-man roster has to be an All-Pro or an elite guy. You just need depth. All right, and as long as you don't have a standout weakness, you can be a good team. All right. So I'll say this: I think they have enough cap space to get to sign 3 more big guys. I don't know what their cash budget is. I do know we just started a new cash spending period where teams are required to spend 90% of the league cap over 3 years. Right? It starts from 2024, 2025, 2024, 25, 26. This 2024 is the first year. All right. There's not a 90, you don't have to spend 90% of the cap each year. You're just going to spend over that 3-year period 90%. All right. So if you draft a quarterback in the first round this year, his most cash could be this year.
I was just doing, not to cut you off, Miguel, I was just doing some research. I wanted to throw this out to see, just to kind of add to this conversation about safety. Xavier McKinney signed with the Packers today, 4 years, $68 million. So
God bless.
That's right. That's probably your benchmark contract in this free agency.
Yeah, because then you get Anton Winfield in Tampa Bay, who's with a franchise tag, and I heard that he's trying to get $20 million. All right. Yeah. I like Cal Duggar, but I don't think he's on their level.
No, I agree. I don't.
Okay, so I think that $13 million tag number is the right level. I think they just got to agree on a deal that keeps long term. They could find a deal that makes long term both sides happy.
Because that's 17 million a year, right? And to your point, when you look at the transition tag last week, you said you mentioned 13 million. I mean, his ceiling is probably 15 if the Patriots were willing to overpay him,
Yeah,
right?
I could, look, John. I was trying to think when I was doing my projections. I couldn't go over 14. I was going
Yeah,
13 and a half.
yeah,
Well, you know what I'm saying?
yeah. Because there
So
are some
15. So
leverage
15.
issues there.
Yeah. So 15. Who's gonna but John? Who's gonna offer them $15 million?
Yeah, I
Like,
don't think anybody will.
no, but let's say like somebody did. How do they know that the Patriots not going to match? Because
Right.
it's only one. You know what I'm saying? How do they know that? And if I was the Patriots, I would wait. I would wait till the last second to match the deal, so that team knows you can't. You don't come after our players. You know what I'm saying? Like they would have to structure. There's no, like, for example, if they structured a deal and his cap number is $10 million in 2024. All right. So what for the Patriots? They still save $3 million. Right? There's no way they could structure, and there's no way a team could structure a deal that the Patriots could not match. And especially if we both agree that's $15 million. If someone wants to give them $20 million a year, let them go.
Miguel,
Okay.
no, sorry, just real quick. For those watching that don't
It's
understand,
not a race, Stone. Take your time. You love
for
a
those
real
that
sprint.
for those that don't understand the transition tag, what was the difference there with the franchise tag, and does it ultimately save the team money?
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh. The transition. Let's keep it simple. The
Now you got
franchise.
him giddy, Kevin.
No, no. The
He
big
loves this
basically.
shit.
No, it's true. It's funny because I did the transition tag. Basically, you have the right to match another team's offer, but if you do not, you don't get anything in return. You don't even get a compensatory pick in 2025. All right. With a franchise tag allows you if another team makes you an offer, all right, and you decide not to match, you get 2 first-round picks back. All right. It's more money because the number of what they're doing in the franchise tag is basing the tag off the cap numbers off the players in the top 5 players at that position. With the transition tag, it's for 10 players, the average of 10 players. So that's why that's lower. All right. Um, in the case of Duggar, it's about a $4 million, $3.5 million difference. All right. I heard some people saying they're being cheap. In my opinion, it was the right value for the guy. All right, because when you do deals these days, all right, you tend to when you get tagged, you tend to reach a long-term deal based on this year's tag and a 20% increase because that's next year's tag. All right, so if he was going to get tagged at $17 million, all right, so the next year's tag would have been 20% more than that, which would have been $20.4 million. So in 2 years, he's going to get $37 million. There's a difference. And then, but if you do the 20% for the $13 million, all right, that's 2.6, 15.6. That's 20, that's 28.6. That's a big difference. It's a lot easier to reach a long-term deal with the lower number. All right. And I think it's better once again, I think that's more in his ballpark and is the right value for him. All right. I don't think they're being I don't think they were being cheap. I think they were just attaching the right value for him. All right. And it seems to me that they're not concerned about getting comp picks this year. All right. Because they signed that guy from Pittsburgh who I don't want to mispronounce his name because I hate when people mispronounce my name. Okay. All right. All right. And they already had Mac Wilson go. So I don't think and they kept on re-signing guys. So I don't think they really care about comp picks this year. So
Yeah.
I think they know that if you're among the leaders in cap space, no team's going to come after you. I mean, he would have to have been at $13 million for teams to come after him. He would have to be like Ed Reed. or that kind of player. You know what I'm saying? Like he's like one of the best players in the league. Where $13 million, let me go after him. Okay. But he's not that. And he's 13. I think he's around 13, $15 million. All right. Some people didn't, even when I said $13 million on Twitter, somebody said that's too much for him. I'm like, okay, which is fine. All right, you can say which is fine, which means that hey, then that's the right value for him, the 13 and that. You know what I'm saying? You could say he's got. Some people make the argument he got overpaid. That's fine, but I don't think that definitely would have gotten overpaid at the franchise tag. And hopefully, I answered your question.
Yeah, and the thing is, Miguel, I think a lot of people now are going to look at those cap numbers and they're going to want to know. Patriot fans are going to want to know: are the Patriots going to make a run at a T. Higgins? Are they still in the market for Calvin Ridley? Can they end up getting a starting caliber left tackle, whether it be a Jonah Williams or someone else? Because I think Patriot fans would like Kyle Duggar back, but and again, right? I think a lot of people see an abundance of cap space.
It's not an either or. It's not
right.
Kyle Duggar's not preventing the Patriots from going after the Patriots.
But I guess what I'm saying is, I think that they have enough money based on your numbers, and we trust your numbers. We base a lot of our reporting on what you report. So, but based on what they have in available cap space, excluding their draft picks, and they only have 7 picks. So
eight now.
8. I'm sorry, 8. Yeah. So excluding the picks, I mean, can they make a run at a T. Higgins and sign an upper echelon left tackle with?
Yes. Okay. If Robert Kraft was to tell me how much he's willing to spend this year, I could definitely answer the question. I know they have the cap space to do it. All right. I know they still need to, if their goal was to spend 90% this year, they still need to spend more this year. All right. So they have, so they have the cap space. They're gonna need they need to get to 90%, they need to spend cash. All right. So they have the means. Oh, I should say the means. They have the resources. All right, the cap space. How much are they willing to spend? I know they have to spend money. All right. They don't have to spend money this year, but I think it'd behoove them to do so. All right. Could they do it? Yes, they can. I can't. John, I would say this. If you want to have a great first impression, I think you want to do something big.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
we all agree.
As much as I love the re-signings of Hunter Henry and Michael Alano, I think they need to do something big with an outside free agent. All right, and I think, and I'll say this, folks, they can do it. I expect them to do it, and like literally, if you say you need to weaponize the offense, that's telling me you're getting someone like someone like a T. Higgins.
And I hate to say it, and Kevin, feel free to jump in. Like, I'm not sure a receiver in the draft excites the fan base, but if you go out and you swing a trade for a Higgins or a Ridley, to your point, Miguel, that changes people's perception of the team.
Yeah, I mean, I know people want to try Marvin Harrison Jr. at 3, but I just don't know who's your quarterback is going to be, because it's not going to be it's not going to be the bridge guys. Like I thought it was funny people were referring to Baker Mayfield and Kirk Cousins as bridge guys. Those guys didn't sign bridge deals.
They do have one now. Jacoby Brissett just signed.
Boom! I love it.
Yeah, I haven't seen the numbers yet, but they do
That's
have
all right.
a bridge guy now.
There you go.
I'm assuming that's what you wanted.
Huh?
Is that a guy that you wanted here?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm. So far I'm near. The only thing I got so far in my off-season plan I got wrong was Mac Wilson. So far, I mean, I said they were going to trade Mac Jones. They were going to re-sign Hunter. They're going to get Awanu done. Even though I wasn't nervous at all. I mean, I thought for sure they were going to take, because you cannot say to the fans, we're going to burn cash. I know that he kind of walked it back and then not sign these guys and draft and develop, because those guys, they draft and develop. All right, that's funny. I thought news would break while we were on the show, and it did.
It might be the
And,
first
and
time ever.
Rock checks in. He's asking us if we like it, and they got him 1 year for $8 million. Thanks, Rock, for checking in, brother, and thanks for passing that along. Appreciate
I
it.
don't hate
Okay.
it.
Huh?
I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
Why don't you love? I see. What number
So-
were you? What were you looking for?
So honestly, I'm not sure. So that's probably a terrible answer. I guess I don't hate it. Again, the money's that's not bad. It's only 1 year, so he's clearly just the bridge
bridge-
guy. I guess I was hoping for a different name, maybe a bigger
Like,
name, but it would have been too expensive. I get it. So now that I'm talking through it, I don't hate it nearly as much.
Okay, because literally, so there's literally one for $8 million, right? That means his cap, he's to lower the cap space by 7.0 something number. Not like he's gonna kick out a guy who's making $915,000 for salary.
Okay.
So his the net effect is around $7 million or 7.1. All right. Oh, I love it. I love that because I literally guessed wrong for his cap number. All right, but I'm fine with that. I was guessing 6, but I should have went up to 8. All right. I love it. I love this deal. All right. Okay, so now let's just use 70. Let's just use $63 billion as the number that they're working with now. All right, after the 100 deal. No, excuse me. After the 100 deal, after the Bourne deal, and the percent deal. All right, let's just use $63 million. So that takes you still have. Okay, so let's just you still have room to get 2 big swings. All right. So now so you get your left tackle and you get your wide receiver 1. So where's the holes? Where are the holes now? What do we need to fill?
Well, obviously, wide receiver and left tackle, as you mentioned. I still think interior defensive line is an area that they need to address. I also think edges, because
Yep.
do you see a scenario where they bring Uche or Jennings back?
More likely Jennings than
I
Uche.
agree.
Okay. I think I'm surprised, honestly, John and Kevin, that somebody didn't make a run at Jennings. I mean, I know, and especially because it seems like the linebackers are getting around $10 million a year. I'm not saying that Jennings is worth, but I would think that because the linebackers, the market's going up, that someone would have made a run at him. I think that Uche is going to go someplace that gives him more snaps. I think if he wants to stay where he's, I think he ended up having 30%, less than 30% snaps. If he plays that, I mean, with the Patriots, if he's willing to do that kind of snaps, I think he can stay with the Patriots. But I think someone else is going to want him to play much more snaps. And I think that, saying so, I don't think he's staying with us.
Yeah, I agree. And I think for him to get the kind of money that he wants, I think he's going to be seeking starter money. And I think it's going to be there. But as you guys know, once you get past today, you get into tomorrow, Wednesday, the rest of the week, there's less and less money out there. And so I think, and if you're the Patriots, he's a guy, just like Belichick has done in the past, you kind of slow play it with him, slow play it with Jennings, because they may end up finding a pretty dry market out there, and they say, you know what? All right, what are you willing to give us to come back? I wouldn't rule either one of them out, but I agree with you, Miguel. I think if you had to sign one of the two, I think it's Jennings, just because I think he can probably do a little bit more.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to play more snaps.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah. So
now the question is left tackle, right? Like, when you look at what's out there, a guy like a Jonah Williams, it's not a great offensive line market. I mean, you can make the case that Onwenu was, if not the top offensive lineman on the market, certainly one of the top 3. Would you entertain a Trent Brown reunion, even though it didn't end well?
No, he's not coming back.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he is either, but you never know, though, right?
I think he made it clear that he's not coming back. John, I'd be shocked if he came back.
I would too, just based on how it played out last year.
Yeah.
And how I don't want to. I mean, he basically quit on them.
I don't. It wasn't a good ending. Let's just move on.
I was going to say, if you're a new head coach, you don't want that in the locker room.
No, you don't.
Yeah. I just I can't imagine. Oh yeah, like he's I can't imagine Mac. I think like I'm surprised like Jonah Williams didn't get signed because like he the three guys who are left tackles left. Trent Brown, Trent the guy from the Cowboys, first name is Smith. Oh my
Tyron
gosh.
Smith,
Okay, and Jonah Williams. All right. And Jonah was the younger guy. So I thought he would have won first. Um like he's the guy I could see him signing a deal. He's not gonna get what Owino got.
No. And if
Okay,
you're
so
Tyron Smith, is this a situation you want to come to, right? I mean, at this point in his career, I would think a place like the Kansas City Chiefs would make sense because he wants to win a ring.
yeah, and then but
Because they need a left
okay,
tackle. They're probably going to move
yeah,
on from Donovan Smith.
yeah. So, but like, who's he's gonna have to wait until they redo. What I'll keep. I don't. Oh man, I didn't look at their cap number today, but who cares? Mahomes' deal. I mean, I think they. I know Josh Allen restructured his deal. I would think that Patrick Mahomes is going to restructure his deal. So maybe he goes there and then replaces that guy Taylor. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
Mister
Jawan Taylor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. False Start.
Yeah, Mr. Falstad. See, you beat me to the punch. Oh,
Hey, man, we're just finishing each other's sentences.
okay.
You are watching / listening to the New England Football Show, sponsored by Mortgage Right. I'm your host, John Sionitis. This week, we're joined by Patscap's Miguel Benzan. I think he's the lifeblood to reporting around here when it comes to the salary cap. I think he's the best in the business. And I know that when we write articles and it pertains to the Patriots and the cap, we use Miguel's numbers. Just a reminder that we are brought to you by Mortgage Right. If you are in the market to sell your current home or purchase your first home, give our good friend Herb Devine a call, 781-254-2846, or you can email him at situate.mortgageright.com. Units team are available anytime, including nights and weekends. Miguel, I want to get your thoughts on Antonio Gibson and that signing. And what did you think of the contract?
I liked it. As as a fantasy football player, I liked the deal because I know he can catch the ball. All right, I think he's a good compliment to Ramondre Stevenson.
I
Okay, I loved the structure. Another guy who got a low signing bonus. All right, he's got first year guaranteed, big deal because you know he's gonna make the roster anyways. All right, so what's all right when he's got a little bit. I think half of his 2025 salary guaranteed. All right, but that still doesn't mean that you couldn't cut him. All right, or you definitely couldn't trade him next year. All right, so he's another guy. Like I keep on saying, they're structuring these deals to give him a great deal of flexibility in the key third year of their quarterback, especially if a rookie quarterback. All right, it's a fair deal for a running back too. All right. I haven't seen. It's a little bit too early, John and Kevin, to know the deal, the incentives. Like I know he's got like $2 million incentives, right? That's all we see right now. I should. When you see those numbers, that's all you see on the reporting on the on the contract stuff, right? The details come in a couple of weeks later. All right. It'll be interesting. So it'll be interesting to see what his tiers are. Like, what he has to do to get the $2 million? Does he have to get to like 1,000 yards? Is it rushing or is it total scrimmage? Right? For some of the Patriots, right? It's rushing. Some of the plays, but sometimes it's total scrimmage. I think for him, because he has the capability to be a pass receiver, that his incentive is going to be total scrimmage yards rather than rushing, rather than receiving. All right, so it doesn't really how he advances the ball. He'll get credit for that in the incentives. I like the deal a lot, but it's a running back too. It's not going to move the needle that much. It'd be interesting to see how the people who grade these free agency grades give that. I personally think I would give it in terms of value. Man, A-, B+. Terms of fit, definitely an A. because the Patriots needed a pass catcher. All right. Um, yeah, so I like the deal a lot, John. I mean, the more I think about it, thank you for asking. The more I think about it, the more I like the deal. Um, I'm yeah, that's all I got to say. Is I really do. I feel like I don't want to spend that much time on a running back too.
Stone, what do you think of the addition of Gibson?
I loved it. I wrote earlier today. He's your James White replacement. I mean,
There
they've
you
been
go.
looking for one for what 3 years now,
All right.
and he's caught 40+ balls the last 3 years. So
And James White was one of the guys who actually had one of his sentences was total scrimmage yards
yeah,
rather than the
yeah.
rushing yards or receiving yards. Like all the receivers, pretty much all the receivers have receiving yards incentives.
So Miguel, I have a non-money question for you.
Yes.
These re-signings of Henry and
Yep.
Bourne and now on Wenu, to me, it's a huge statement to the locker room. Guys, in the past, they've had to struggle and fight for that respect, and money equals respect in the NFL. Just your thoughts on bringing these guys back and sort of the message it sends to a locker room, because I think it's huge.
It is. Yeah, money is in the NFL. Money does respect. I was blown away when a beat reporter told me that the players looked at my page because they to keep up with, so they knew where they lined up with their fellow players. Um, it is gonna you want to set the culture up, all right, and by re-signing Hunter Henry, who was a captain, all right, you you got Michael Owano, who was their best offensive lineman last year, easily. All right. You didn't let him, and he got top of the market, like near the top of the market. No one can say that the Patriots were cheap with this deal. You know what I'm saying? No, you can't. He got $19 million a year, and he's got like 38 guaranteed. 38 guaranteed. So he's definitely going to get the first 2 years fully. I'm pretty sure he's going to get the first 2 years' salaries guaranteed. All right. That is that tells the outside people that the Patriots are going to take care of the guys. When you drafted the rookies, it's like if I do well, I'm going to get paid. I get drafted and develop. So they have, and it's. I think if they do one, they got to do one more thing, John again. They got to extend either Stevenson or Barmore. And I prefer that it be Barmore because the interior defensive line market is going crazy. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The sooner
he's going to cost them a lot. Like, is it fair to say, Miguel, that when it's time to put that contract on the table, he's looking at you got to figure he's looking at north of 20 to 25 million a year.
He's looking between this year. He's looking between 20 and he's not 20 to 25. I would say closer to 20, 22 and a half because he has to give him a discount because the Patriots have taken the risk that he get of his injury risk. All right. So he's going to have to give him a little bit of a discount. All right. Especially if he signs the deal in before the season. All right. Yeah. So he's going to get paid. I mean, that's the thing that the next step.
And look at the top of that market. It's crazy the money that interior defensive line.
Yeah, but it kind of helps, John, in the sense that we know that where the ceiling is. The ceiling is Aaron Donald and Chris Jones. Then it's oh my gosh, the guy who just got paid, Wilkins. All right, and then there's a whole bunch of guys underneath that. All right. Yeah. No matter what, I don't think anyone's going to try to say that Bama cannot be looking to get past Aaron Donald and Chris Jones. He just can't justify that argument. All right, he's going to try to get somewhere in the next top. If he wants to probably say top 10. All right, especially if he has a Pro Bowl year or close to an All Pro year, or, you know what I'm saying, he's going to want to have like top 10 money. All right, that's $25 million easy. All right, which mean like we talking about big splash things. Right, if the Patriots think that they can extend him, I wouldn't be surprised that they might be leaving some cap space, like $10 to $15 million in cap space, just because they think they're going to use that money to extend them. Right?
Do you try to do it this offseason?
Oh, Oh my gosh, the
I mean,
best
'cause he's
time.
going to hit the market.
The best time to sign a upcoming player is early as possible because this market keeps on going. It's not going to go down. It's
Right.
only going to go up and up and up. So I would definitely try to do it. And then just to further Kevin's point about the message it sends to the locker room, right? Because man, it's I can count on one hand the number of guys since the 2011 CBA that the Patriots extended with 1 year left on their rookie deal. All right. And James White was the one of them, and he didn't get done until April. And a couple of guys got done right before the start of the season. All right. And I think I don't have it off. There was one guy who was done during the season. I forget his name. I think it was Marcus Cannon, but I shouldn't say his name because I might be wrong. All right. But it was only 4 guys who's got extended in the last year of the deal since the rookie deal since the 2011 CBA.
And just to both of your points about Barmore, I would put Peppers on that list too. I think that's a guy that should be here long term.
Yes, we said that before when we were talking about Justin Simmons. Yeah. I mean, it would. But the thing about Peppers is extending him really doesn't change his cap number. You would just lower his salary, give him replace that with a signing bonus, and it really wouldn't change his cap number. So you're not doing that, saying so that's more like, hey, how much am I? Yeah, but with Barmore, you're definitely spending cash and taking up cap space.
And that's going to, and it's an interesting decision. I mean, I'd love to see them get it done this offseason. You don't want him to hit the market, especially if he has another big year, because if he hits the market, you're going to have that short window to potentially get something done with him, like the Chiefs did with Chris Jones. But if he hits the market, there's no loyalty there. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to get paid.
He's going to get paid, or you're looking at a tag in 2025. He's getting he's getting the tag. Oh my gosh. Like the tag number was in the 20s, all right? And the cap keeps going up, so it might be 25. You know what I'm saying? Like it might go to hit 25 in 2025. It could be that. He's going to get. If you don't sign him now, you're looking at a tag, and then when you get the tag, then the deal is gonna be factored off the tag plus a 20% increase. Because that's a tag number.
So it's abundantly obvious that even after signing Jacoby Brissett tonight, they're not going into the season with Jacoby Brissett, Bailey Zappi, and Nathan Rourke as their 3 quarterbacks. They're going to draft a quarterback.
Yes,
Miguel, I'm with you. We're in the same camp, and I think Kevin is to a degree too. I think he's gone back and forth, but I think when you look at what they have right now, they trade Jones yesterday. They closed the book on his tenure here. It's safe to say they're more than likely going to take a quarterback at 3. With that being the case, let's just assume they do. Who would you like to see them take, Miguel?
Oh, I'm not a draft guy. So you tell me. I don't really care. Whoever shows up there.
You just want him to take a quarterback.
I just want him to take a quarterback. I literally do not I do not watch any college football. All right. I listen to a couple of draft podcasts. I listen to you guys. I listen to Derek Havens and Steve Ballesteri and Michael May and Murph on the other podcasts. But I don't care. I really don't care. And I'm like, pick a quarterback. Whoever comes to you, be happy.
By the way, do you happen to know off the top of your head what would they be looking at from a cost standpoint?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I do. Off the top of my head, hold on.
Picking at 3, because I think that's important. Not that it'll matter in terms of who they take.
Yeah. Hold on a minute.
But what it could mean down the road.
Okay. That's funny. Great question. The picking at 3, his cap number this year is going to be $7.56 million. All right. The person is going to get $27 million signing bonus. All right. His cash amount will be around $27.8 million. And 2026, his 2025, his cap number will be $9.45 million. All right. So just a little bit more than what Jacoby Brissett got this year. All right. 2026, $11.34 million, and then 2027, $13.23 million. All right, so he's going to have in over 4 years, he's going to average around $10.4 million a year. So Jacoby got $8 million. Your quarterback at 3 is going to average $10.4 million. Just a little, you know what I'm saying? That's the difference between, that's the rookie difference. All right. I love Jacoby. All right. He doesn't have the upside of any, like, all I've been hearing is like Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Daniels. They all have upside. All right. Jacoby does not have their upside. And you're getting this quarterback for $10.4 million a year.
Yeah, and I think, look, and Kevin, I want to get your thoughts on this. I like Brissett from the standpoint that either Brissett or Zappe can bridge this thing for you. And I know a lot of people probably disagree with me on punting on 2024, but if it means taking a quarterback at 3 and doing it right and setting yourself up for future success, I'm okay with doing it. I am. Now, when I say punting on 2024, I'm not saying go out there and lose every game. You want to field a competitive team, and I'm sure they will be competitive. But I don't want to rush this if you take a quarterback at 3.
They just need, to finish the point, John, a little bit better health and a little bit more luck. You can lose some of those one score losses they had in 2024. 2023 can become wins in 2024.
No, I mean, the Philly game, the Miami game, and the Indy game all come to mind immediately.
Chargers.
Yeah, so I'm with you there. Look, John, you're right. I've gone back and forth for the last 2 months. At first, it was just, you had so many holes. I figured trading down, you can stockpile draft picks and sort of build it the old school way. But after today, they filled some of those holes already. I'm okay with it. I had wanted Russ Wilson originally, but that clearly wasn't going to happen, even though he's basically free. But the only thing I'm worried about with Jacoby is you don't have a quarterback, assuming you draft a rookie, you don't have a quarterback that's truly going to, push him for that competition. And maybe I'm wrong about that, but Jacoby knows who he is at this point in his career is my point. So that worries me a little bit that, maybe the rookie coming in is a little bit too comfortable right off the bat. But I get what both of you guys are saying. And at this point, I'd be, shocked if they don't take a quarterback. All signs are pointing to that. I just worry about the competition factor. That's all.
But I think I see what you're saying, but I would think anybody who's these 3 guys have to be competitors. I really think. All right. Yeah. I don't think
they will, but it's starting to trend in that direction. We knew all along that if they were going to sign a veteran, Brissett was probably the guy. Look, we know what Bailey Zappe is, and it's not a knock on Zappe, but Zappe, again, in that bridge conversation, but I don't think anybody thinks that realistically think he's the option. They're going to draft a quarterback. The only question here is do you trade down and take that quarterback? Because talking to some people, there's a lot of support in that building for J.J. McCarthy. And so the trade down scenario is not out of the question, especially if they think they could stay within a range where they could still land a McCarthy. So I ultimately don't see it happening. I still think they stick to 3 and they take a guy there. Now, the conversation is, what happens if, let's say, Williams goes to the Bears, Jaden Daniels goes to the Commanders? If you listen to some of the reports coming out of that building, and according to sources that they don't love Drake May as much, that I think could potentially lead to them trading down. If that speculation is true that they're not big on Drake May and he's sitting there at 3 and somebody says, well, we love Drake May, then that could change everything. When I look at this quarterback class, it reminds me of the 2004 draft. And I've said this the last week, covering the 2004 draft. I'm not comparing these 3 kids to Manning, Rivers, and Roethlisberger, but it reminds me of that draft.
Who was 4th that year?
Oh, geez. I've been doing this for so long. I'd
have to. I'm just saying, I'm like trying to think of you mentioned those 3 guys. I remember them, but I don't remember the 4th guy.
To the phone.
I'll look it up right now.
I don't have. I shut off my phone when I do podcasts.
Our statistician research guru Kevin Stone's going to look it up. But my point is, when I think about this class, it's that the conversation and the debate reminds me a lot of 2004.
Okay, I see. Okay,
there was a lot of back and forth. I had Ben Roethlisberger as my number one quarterback in that class, but I really like Drake May, and look, I don't think he's as polished as Williams or Daniels. However, I do think that he has more upside than those guys. I think those guys are a little further along right now, but I also think that those guys are closer to their ceiling, whereas I think he has a bigger ceiling.
all right.
And again, it doesn't matter what we think, right?
Yeah, it doesn't
And
matter.
as I say all the time about the draft, beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Exactly.
What the three of us think, and what Elliot Wolf in that front office thinks, or what Mayo, Van Pelt, and McCartney think are two different things. But certainly, you just went through the numbers. It's not going to come cheap. And let's say you do draft a quarterback, and this is obviously best case scenario, and they do pan out. You're looking at a potential contract extension in as early as 2 years from now, but possibly after year 3, if that player is good, now you're looking at a long-term extension.
Yeah, after year 3, you probably want to do it. You can't do anything in the first 3 years, anyways. It's after year 3. All right. Did you figure out who was the fourth quarterback?
J.P. Lossman.
Okay. See,
who had a
okay.
I don't want to say decent career, but played long enough.
Matt Schaub later on.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember Matt Schaub. J.P. Lossman wasn't good. Okay, he wasn't good. All right.
He hung around, but he wasn't. No, I agree. He hung around.
He hung around, like literally, because he was drafted in the first round. It's like, folks, if you get drafted in the first round, you get to hang around in the NFL for a long time. Just off that first round grade, it's crazy. It's like one of the reasons I gave Owanu a $17 million figure is because he was drafted in the 6th round. Yeah. If he was drafted in the 1st round, I probably would have bumped up his projection. And that's how it. That's not. And it's not fair, but that's how the NFL works.
Miguel, one more from me.
Yeah.
Of any big name that's still left, any position, who would you want most?
Calvin Ridley.
I agree.
Weaponize that offense, Calvin Ridley. Yeah, that's who I want. That's like see, like Lily would tell me you end the show and they sign him, I'm gonna be so happy. All right. Because it's funny because on these 2 days, the news doesn't stop. Like they won't stop till like 11 o'clock. You know, saying like, and they'll start up again like maybe at 9 o'clock tomorrow. It's with the signings. Calvin Ridley's my choice.
What about defense?
I was just supposed to think. You guys are thinking right off my tongue. I was thinking edge. Man, I can't think of a young guy. I can't think of a young edge guy I want anymore. Because I was.
Well, I was gonna say on the edge thing, having Judon back, it's not a free agent signing, but that's a massive kind of pickup. Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Man, Huff got signed. Who's it? I'm trying to think of an edge guy.
Well, Grenard signed with the Vikings. They gave him the bag.
Yeah. I would have to think about that more. I don't. It's gonna be. Let's pick a guy in the edge. I don't have a name. Sorry.
I can't believe I stumped you of all people.
Well, it's.
Well, I mean, Josh Allen from the Jaguars. Let's say. I mean, I think he.
No, that's a tag. The tag and trade. That's a tag and trade.
That's a tag and trade. So they tag.
Well, that's not doing that. I don't think they do that. I don't. I am.
I guess I should have been clear. What I'm trying to say. He was the best on the market.
Yeah.
Then I would say Grenard, who signed with the Vikings.
Yeah. So like, what? Brian Burns got a 2nd and a 5th. Oh my God.
Yeah, you got a trade. Yeah.
Yeah, it's for $25 million. Goodness gracious.
Well, I mean, I guess if there's a guy that comes to mind, the guy that Grenard's going to replace in Minnesota, Danielle Hunter.
Yeah, but he's an older guy. I'm trying to.
He's an older guy. I'm just saying. If we're
I know. I I'm trying to stay away from. I was trying to think. I thought he came in my mind, but I was trying to stay away from an older guy. I wanted to sign Huff just to take him away from the Jets. That's going to be funny, but
well, he probably would be pretty affordable, and he's pretty talented, and I think he'd be a pretty good scheme fit here for them.
He got signed by someone today.
Did he sign?
Yeah, I forgot by who, but he got signed by someone. Shoot, I forget. Oh my gosh, I forget who. But see, that's like really so many names got signed.
But this goes to my point that I made earlier that it is hard to keep up. Guys are signing left and right.
But like literally, I bet you like 4 or 5 guys got signed
since we've been on. Any final thoughts here, Miguel, as we go into day? What is day 2 of free agency?
Yeah, I expect even more signings tomorrow. Expecting more. And a couple of more trades. It's gonna be. I'm not expecting. It was Philly. Somebody said Philly. Okay, thank you, Rock. I should have guessed Philly. It's going to like Wednesday might be a slow day, folks. I used to take the first day of free agency off, and then I just realized it's just been a dud lately, and I expect this to be even a bigger dud. We'll find out on Wednesday. For example, we still haven't found out on Wednesday if they tended Trey Nixon or if they tended Christian Ellis. We'll find that out on Wednesday. For some reason, I know that Nathan Walk was supposedly signed, all right, but he still hasn't showed up on official reports. That's all I know. So maybe he got it because he's a quarterback. He signed more for more than a minimum. All right. So we'll wait. That's what I'm looking forward to and hearing on Wednesday. They have a restricted free agent, Terez Hall, but I can't imagine the Patriots would tender him because he's been so injured. What's else going to happen on Wednesday? We'll find out that Jalen Mills' deal will void. And hopefully by Wednesday we'll have the details in, and that's be for other these deals. I expect maybe tomorrow for Kendrick Bourne, and maybe Wednesday if I want to.
By the way, not to cut you off, Tom Pelissero reported about 18 minutes ago that the Patriots have signed free agent linebacker Sione Takitaki. He played at BYU and was with the Browns. Well, he got drafted by the Browns, so he played for the Browns. But there you go, an Elliott Wolf connection from Cleveland. Sione Takitaki.
All right.
Now, here's the thing. Takitaki, he can play inside. So I'm curious to see what that does for their linebacker room. You lose Wilson, so maybe is he a replacement for Mac Wilson? He can play outside, but he's not a guy that, to me, can play on the line of scrimmage. So
okay. So
if nothing else, we can have fun with the name.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You can Takitaki or leave it.
Didn't take long.
It never does, Stone.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah. So
wow.
Takitaki.
So we had 2 during the show.
Yeah, Brissett and Takitaki, both Cleveland Brown connections. I mean, Van Pelt coached Brissett in Cleveland 2 years ago. So,
damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, and you clearly see a pattern here. That's why I think, when I look at some potential signings, unless he's signed today, if we're looking for another body up front, Josh Nijman, who played with the Packers, could be a connection there with Wolf. Like, they're going to go after guys they're familiar with. That's the theme here. So, Sione Takitaki is a good football player. And it's a pretty good signing for them. The only question I have is, I don't see him playing on the line of scrimmage. He's an off-ball outside linebacker. So, could that be a sign that they could be more of a traditional base 4-3 team and then move around from there? Who knows? But there you go. 2 signings since we've been on the air.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So, Stone, any final thoughts here before we put a bow on this present?
No, it's a very entertaining day. Miguel, thank you as always. Very knowledgeable. Math is not my strong suit. You make it easy. So,
thank you.
Always a pleasure talking to you, my man.
Yeah, we love having you on, brother. You're fantastic. You do great work, my man. And, Thank you for taking the time as always. You really do make it easy. I couldn't agree with Kevin more.
Thanks.
This stuff can be complicated, but the way you break it down on Twitter and the way you break it down for us, it's why I think you're one of the best followers around. So
Thank you
you're
so
not
much.
following Miguel on X, make sure you do that. It's a daily education. You're going to learn a lot about
Patscap,
the
yeah.
app.
And folks, I gotta apologize. Like, I get so many questions on Twitter, and I'm not seeing them. I go back and look at my tweets, and I see someone got to ask me a question. I'm like, I didn't see it the first time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, so if I don't take it personal. It's like Twitter is just not showing me all the reply.
And Miguel, real quick, do you want to plug your foundation?
Yeah. So if folks, I'm just trying to raise money for Harvard Habitat for Humanity. So if you can do so, just go to my pinned tweet and donate to the. I have a link to the charity I'm trying to raise to help someone build a house, and it'd be cool if that'd be happening. Appreciate that. Appreciate any donation you can give. I appreciate that. Thanks. You can find me on Twitter at Patscap, PATSCAP. And appreciate all you guys at work, and I hope to see you guys one day. Do you guys know when the Yukon Pro Day is?
March 20th, our Tony Catalina is going to be there. It's next week, next Wednesday, a week from Wednesday.
I can't get out of that. I have to work. Do they have any pro days on the weekends?
I don't think so.
Most of the ones in New England, unless UMass does theirs, they're all next week. So there's one on the 20th down at Bryant for the Rhode Island prospects, 21st at Holy Cross, and UConn's the 20th, and then Boston College is the 22nd. I think UMass is probably one of those days, maybe there on Saturday, but those are probably going to be the only ones in New England.
Okay. All right. I was just curious. I was like, I should try to go to that pro day.
But we'll be there covering them. So we, and one thing that we take great pride in is we cover college football in New England better than anybody. So we know the New England prospects better than anybody. So
yeah. So who do you think? How many guys from New England do you think are going to get drafted?
I think that there's all the guys that participated at the combine. I think are either going to get drafted or signed right away as priority free agents. But Christian Mahogany, Christian Haynes, Dylan Lobby, Jalen Coker, CJ Hansen, Elijah Jones. I think they all get drafted.
You just named about 6 players.
Yep, I think they all get drafted. Honestly, Miguel, I think it speaks to we talk about it all the time, and Kevin will tell you, it speaks to the quality of the college football in New England now, man. We're playing some good college ball up here. And they're not the only guys. You got Karam and Nick down at Yale. I mean, those two offensive linemen, Nick, of course, grad transferred to South Carolina last year. Both of those guys, there's a good chance they're going to get drafted. I mean, you're looking at about 8, probably a minimum of 8 guys getting drafted.
That's awesome.
New England. Yeah.
All right, that's awesome.
And Eric Watts is another one. So defensive end from UConn. So you're looking at 8 to 10 guys from New England getting drafted.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
It's awesome, man. It's good stuff. So, but Miguel, thanks for taking the time, man. Appreciate you as always, brother.
All right. Take care.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. That is Miguel Benzan from Patscap. That'll do it for this week's episode of the New England Football Show. For Kevin, Miguel, I'm John Serenitas. Till next week. Peace.
See ya.